Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. Need to get used to saying 2024 now. Oh, goodness. I am joined by Ollie next to me. Ollie Cat. He's purry. He's Nuzzles. He's Mr. Nuzzles. He wants some attention, some petting today, right as the stream is starting. Yes, that's my boy next to me. So, how are things? We had New Year's. We had the newest of New Year's. We're going to start the stream by going over to here. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to push a button to start printing a thing. So it'll start moving momentarily. We are printing in blue today. We are printing a new item, which, yeah, you can see one of them behind me. Now, last time we printed that right there, this beautiful thing, not in this color, but we did print this last time. Now, there were issues that came up when I printed in black this 16 slot display, not really slot, but it's a display for 16 as Mr. Cat just barely comes in frame for a split second to see what I'm holding, because he's gotta investigate what I'm holding, huh? Yeah, so it had this little bit of an issue with the with like texturing happening towards the top of the print, and I think that I've dialed in the settings enough now so that it's not really much of an issue. Unfortunately, it means that it has to print slower, significantly slower, as well as thicker. I increased the thickness, so it's much more rigid now. It's much more difficult to flex, except this way, but you're not really gonna get forces that way. It's mostly like this, and that has a lot of tension. So yeah, there's the 16 slot Game Boy Advanced, or Game Boy Advance cartridge holder. It holds 16 Game Boy Advance cartridges, 4x4. I don't have any to display. What I instead have are 9 Game Boy, or 8 Game Boy games, a Game Boy Color game, 3 Game Gear games, and I've got 2 3DS and a DS cartridge in there. I could put Switch titles in there, but whatever. Whatever. And that is now listed. I have that listed now. It is $14.99. This will also be that price, I'm pretty sure. This is the 4 cartridge Nintendo 64 vase mode display, and that one's in red. So I had a version that does 2 of the vase mode display. Now it's extendoed, and it does 4, and it's probably going to be the same price, maybe $1 or $2 lower. We'll have to see about that. But I have to print it in all of the colors. I still need to get pictures of that one behind me, the Game Boy Advance one, in black and red. I have to get pictures of those. I have them. They're printed. I just need pictures of them. That guy, though, I need to print in blue, which I'm doing right now, starting up right now, printing in blue. And then I have to print one in white. Yeah, blue and then white. And get the pictures and make the listing, and that'll be done. Then I'm thinking about, like, order of operations. I have a version of that for Game Boy that I could make larger versions of, more than one version of, and I could also make versions specifically for Game Gear, Game Gear, as well as Genesis, as well as Super Nintendo, for cartridges that I physically have right now. I could make versions of these vase mode things specifically sized to Game Gear, Genesis, and Super Nintendo. So a lot of printing ahead of me, I think, which, you know, is nice because December was my best sales month ever. Of the 3D printing stuff, started about middle of last year. The final month of December was the best of all of them in terms of both number of sales as well as amount earned. Now, that doesn't really mean much when the amount earned is, somewhat trivial. When the profit is like $130, but it's growing, and it has continued to grow. I'm very interested in seeing what happens in January, if I will continue to see growth, or if seasonal trends will dictate that it might be not as much on the sales. We'll see. We'll find out. I've already had multiple sales as of, the beginning of the new year. Small ones, single items, but, it's great. So, New Year's. New Year's happened. Everything was awesome on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, we had what we usually have every New Year's Eve. My mother makes these little sandwiches, baked, And we have a whole bunch of hors d'oeuvre type things, cheese and crackers, lots of cheese and crackers and salami meats of various kinds, and dips and chips and pretzels. All this stuff we have for New Year's Eve. We have that for most of the holidays, but the sandwich things are specific to New Year's Eve. Basically, you take a bunch of rolls, dinner rolls, like King's Hawaiian dinner rolls, open them up, put a whole bunch of meat and cheese on them, close it. There's a little glaze that goes over top of it all, and then it gets baked until the cheese is molten, and it's delicious. They come out, you cut it into the individual rolls, and they're mini sandwiches, very thick mini sandwiches, and they're good, and we're gonna have those for a while. But yesterday, for New Year's Day itself, we were able to go out to eat to the usual place that we go out to eat to on New Year's Day, which is a restaurant called Smoky Bones. It is a barbecue restaurant. So they got lots of meat on the menu, and alcohol, and alcohol. So we had barbecue burgers, which were burgers with pulled pork and fried pickles. And it was delicious. Was delicious. Probably more so by the fact that I had alcohol. I ordered a pineapple express, and it was delicious. And I have zero regrets. So that was the New Year's celebrations. The cats, well, they were fine, pretty much fine on New Year's. They didn't really care too much about all the big bangs going on outside from people with their illegal fireworks and illegally firing guns outside for the neighbors. Yeah, that's a thing around here. No, what they get afraid of is our horn blowers for the actual New Year celebration. So yeah, we put our hats on. Cats didn't really mind the hats. I know with Cole, when we had him, he would consider you an alien if you were wearing the New Year's hat. You were basically aliens at that point. And he was not amused by the noises. He would go off, and these kitties, they were fine until the noise. They don't like noise. They don't like noise, loud noises. In fact, we got two different kinds of noise makers. We got the ones that you blow into, and then we got horns that you just squeeze, and it just honks when you squeeze it, like genuine horns. So yeah, like Dolly was around. She was interested in both of them, and she came up and was like sniffing the horn, and then I went and I pushed it. It made its noise, and she just like backed up and ran off from it. It's like, yeah, that one fights back. You don't want to tangle with the one that fights back. Makes noises at you. It honks at you. It's alive. It's living. It's alive. And it's scary. Because it responds. So anyway, that was New Year's. It was fine. Everything was fine and wonderful. And I haven't even loaded the game up yet. That's how far behind I am today. Sitting next to me and near me are 10 packages that need to go out today. after the stream. One of which I still need to purchase shipping on. Because yeah, that was it was a holiday weekend, and yeah, wasn't able to get stuff out on Saturday, so all the stuff from like Friday orders through today, early morning, all is going out today for the 3D printed stuff, which is nice. This has been a really good weekend. Have had some other weekends that have had a lot of boxes before, but I think this is one of the best ones, I think, so far. Those things. One last note with those things. That this is large. This is quite large. I've had to order new boxes in order to ship these. Those boxes arrive Thursday. So, yeah. We do have boxes that I could use, but they're a bit too big for shipping just one of these at a time. Yeah. The new boxes, I think I could actually fit 4 of these in, but it was the best priced option for a box for me to get that would fit these. I needed a box that had at least 10 inches, at least a 10 by 6, just for this stuff. And I ended up with a 10 by 6 by 6 box, that set that I've ordered. But for right now, in case anything sells like today of those 16 ones, it'll have to be shipped in an even larger box, a 10 by 10 by 6, which, yeah, is a bit inefficient, and it will cost me more to actually ship it, but I won't have much choice in the matter until Thursday. Speaking of which, yeah, the part of the pricing of that is to include the extra cost that it will take to ship the items, rather than increase my blanket flat rate shipping. It's just been included as part of the price at that point. So yeah, that's all that. That's all that. The game is live. It's up. If OBS would decide to, capture the game, that would be great. There it is. And there's the 3D printer printing. Yes, there's scene 2. It has begun. It has begun, and I forgot to talk about my story with the 3D printer that happened yesterday. Oh my goodness, we're not done yet. There's still things. There's still things to say about the 3D printer as I finagle the correct scene to be in. Yesterday, I went to change out the 3D printer's filament to a different filament color, and it wasn't feeding in. It wasn't loading the filament when I was telling it to load the filament. The gears were making noise. They were trying and failing to push the filament into the hot end, which is hot, and it should melt, and it should just extrude. It was failing at this, and I'm like, what's going on? I pulled in multiple different filaments to try to get it through, and it wasn't happening. After finagling about for way too long, I had to take apart the extruder. The big GLaDOS head that you see there. Yeah, that thing. The thing that's moving. That has a very uncanny resemblance to GLaDOS. Yeah, I had to like partially disassemble that. It does not involve having to take it off of the rail that it's on, fortunately. But yeah, that was a pain to figure out what the problem was. It was a bit of a pain. But now I know what the problem was. I know what the exact cause is. I know exactly what to do when it's a problem in the future. It just took a while to get there in the first place. It's actually a very easy way to take care of it. So what was happening was that, yes, there was a clog. There was a clog of solidified plastic that was in a spot that does not get heated by the hot end enough to melt it. Because that assembly is a couple of parts. There's three, actually, big, like, componentry parts I can... you can think of it as, just in simplified terms, there's the section with gears that moves the filament, which is separate from the part that gets hot and extrudes the filament, and it goes through and melts and exits through the nozzle. So there's the hot part and the gear part, and between those two is a tube. A very small tube. It's called a Bowden tube. In this particular configuration, it's known as direct drive, going from one to the other, but it's not necessarily truly direct because there's still a little tiny tube in between the two parts. What was happening is that before getting to that tube, there's a little plastic orifice where the gears are supposed to push through the filament into the tube. That little plastic part, that hole leading to the tube, was blocked by plastic, solid plastic. That somehow got caught, solidified in that spot, and it blocks all fresh filament from going through to the tube into the hot end. To fix it, I had to take it apart. I had to pull out, disassemble the extrusion part, the geared part. So that meant pulling out, unhooking that assembly, unhooking the motor from the gears, because fortunately they're two pieces. You can take the motor off of the gears, then take the gear piece, open that up to get to the specific plastic shroud piece that has that hole on the bottom that had plastic on it, and just take out that plastic at that point. It's easy at that point to get the plastic out from coming underneath, poking it out and getting it out, flushing it out, and then put it all back together again, and then redo a whole bunch of calibration stuff, because once you do that, you've screwed up calibration things, and you have to rerun the calibration, the whole process of which takes, like 12 minutes to just do the calibration and another 5 to do all the, like, removing of the plastic from the thing. So it's like 15 minutes to fix. 15 to 20 to fix it whenever it happens. And it might happen a fair bit when needing to change out colors. The more often you need to change out the filament, the more likely it is that that's going to happen and have to do that all over again. Now, I did notice something with this. I'm not seeing it as much right now on this blue one as I've done the calibration multiple times thus far, but there's this little bit. I can see that there's this little bit of these diagonal lines. It's like a diagonal ghosting set of lines that are showing up on the base boat prints, and I can see it in certain lighting. It's not a major issue. It doesn't really change things, but I can see this pattern. There's like this, it's a pattern of lines that are showing up that shouldn't be there, but I'm okay with them being there, frankly. It's fine. It's fine. It just only started happening after I disassembled the gear part and put it back on. Even though I've done calibration for the vibrations to try to remove the vibration effects. And it does remove most of the vibration effects, and it's actually been printing better than it was since I removed that clog. It's better than before, also. Cat. Hi. Here is Cat. He's sleepy. He's sleepies. Yes, it's the big boy. He's here. He's comfies. Big Ollie is comfy right now. Okay, so I didn't play the game in between streams. Basically, like, I did not play on New Year's Day. I didn't even load up the game. So we're basically right where we left off last time. And thus, I had my big spiel 20 minutes at the beginning of the stream, just because there was nothing else to really talk about before getting into the game. And hopefully folks are here now and have shown up, and we can really get into the game and play and progress towards getting into intelligent units. How far away are intelligent units? Very. Very. They're not happening today. Just so they're clear, they're not happening today. We are on the path towards them, but they will not happen today. What have we done towards getting intelligent units? We have made supercapacitors, and we have set up stuff for those supercapacitors like carbon aerogel and sodium chlorate. We have also been planning out some of the other stuff like quantum batteries. We are currently working towards making quantum batteries as the next ingredient. And in the process of making quantum batteries, we're actually going to end up with a few of the other things that are going to be involved as ingredients in the other parts of making intelligent units. To that end, the quantum batteries, we are going to need to make diamagnetic material, as well as nanowires, and biopolymer, and nanomesh, and these microcavity cores. That's going to be a mission. Are these used for anything else? No. They're not used for anything else, therefore they are being made at the organic batteries. That adds a few extra ingredients, including deuterium, but that we're going to get out of gas bladders in a separate factory. So we have deuterium as another factory. Out of gas bladders. A few gas bladders make that much, so we'll set that a little bit lower. I do have to laugh a little bit though about the volume of deuterium here, considering the normal way of getting them is it's a bit bigger than this. It's a bit bigger than this overall. So yeah, that's a thing. What else is in here that we will need? Well, there's this thing called Lumogen F. Lumogen F. What are you used for? Quasi-crystals as well as microcavity cores. Therefore, the rules state that we shall make them in a separate factory. Them is the rules. For that, we will need DCM, dichloromethane, as well as bazolite C300. The bazolite C300 is also used for photon-deposited quartz. Therefore, we must make bazolite C300, as well as DCM in separate factories. We already have the DCM somewhere, I do believe. Did I put Paraline? Yes. How about the cumene? No. I will need to put cumene on the network. How are we going to get it? All right. That's the way of things. Just so as we're clear, I have infinity crude oil access. So we'll be doing that. Have I put tetrachloride, the titanium tetrachloride, onto the train network? I have not, therefore I will need to do that. That will need to be also on the train network. That's fine. Yeah, that'll be that factory. Dichloromethane. Needs chloromethane. Not on the train network. Great. Used for multiple things, but I can just put it onto the train network from where I'm making the dimethyl dichlorosilane at graphene. So that is just going to require going to graphene. And adding a station for this chloromethane. So I'm not going to bother, and that'll be what I do there. Did I put chlorine itself onto the train network? No. I really should do that. I don't have to do that. Yeah. I've done it with HCl, so I may as well do it with chlorine. Alright, chlorine. What will be a good enough way of getting a lot of you? $244 blood is a lot. That's also quite a bit. And what about the saline? That is an inconsequential amount of saline. It's just that I would also have to void sodium hydroxide. We will do that. So, on the agenda for the day today, we have chlorine, titanium tetrachloride, cumene, DCM, or dichloromethane, basalite C300, Lumogen F, deuterium, biopolymers, carbon nanotubes, nanowires, pyrolytic carbon, diamagnetic material, and then quantum batteries. So that's on the agenda for the day today. Hello, good morning. We're starting off actually with getting the chloromethane put onto a train. That's step one. Is get chloromethane on a train. Yeah, big Ollie cat. Big Ollie cat. Yeah. And it's a baby. It's his ear. That's the ear. God modules. Upgrade all of the modules. Now, last time we met, another thing that I had done recently was put all of the like boron stuff onto trains, or borax stuff onto trains. So over at where I am doing borax up here, I upgraded borax and then processed and put diboran on the network, boric acid on the network, boron trioxide on the network, and then the boron carbide on the network. That's another set of things that we did last time, as well as making, of course, the stuffs, the super alloy that unlocked all of the purple belts. This is precisely opposite of what it needs to be. There you go. Power the everything, and that is... Oops. Cough. Cough, hack, wheeze. Cough, hack, and wheeze. There we go. 2350 on the thing, and that makes a bit. That makes a little bit. Just a smidge of stuff. I should move the pumps there. Convenient. 3,000 per second of the chloromethane provided to my locomotive. All right, next, chlorine. Oh, needed to clear my throat out. Where shall we chlorine? Yeah, not there. Not there, huh? I need to redo this. Get rid of it. Replace it. Yeah, I'm really running out of spots, huh? Got a spot there. Got 2 spots here. So we'll go down and we'll do that. I need to also keep building rail. I've got so many areas to keep building rails for additional squares to work with. I just have to do it. The issue about doing it is that it takes a very long time to do that. Now, could I have my bots do it? Yeah, technically, but I'd have to redo my like blueprints to add in the upgraded roboports, and I'd really not want them to be stuck at the Mark II roboports. I think I would want at least the Mark III, but Mark II's already don't fit. They don't fit between the tracks, so yeah, I would want the Mark III, which is bigger still, and it has larger coverage if I'm going to have to like have these off to the side anyway. Yeah, Ollie Cat, I know you're sleepies. It's nap time. It's nap time for the kitties. They've had their food and they're happy, and now it's time for sleepies. Okay, we need that, and we also need a solid fuel void. Ah, that's slow. I'll need to upgrade those trains. So, things that I could do to increase this throughput even more would include outputting into a tank that would provide 12,000 per second. But the amount of saline used would be rather insane. Can I just say that when I have the YouTube chat popped out for my stream, that chats that appear at the bottom of the list, which, you know, is how it's displayed, is that the most recent chat is at the bottom. There's this little icon off on the side for, like, reactions that, gets in the way of the text, making it so that I can't really see what is being said. Because it overlaps the text. And it's incredibly annoying. So, apparently the Japanese are using 3D printing, laser printing, to make cubes of sea urchin meat. You think you can turn it off? I don't see a way of being able to turn it off. Nah, I can't. There's nothing on the thing that lets me change that. But anyway. What I'm saying is that there's nothing on the pop-out chat that lets me turn it off. If there's something in further settings in my account to change it, then that's something I can't do right now and won't do right now. And it's going to just be in the way. It shouldn't be in the way in the first instance. I shouldn't have to turn a feature off to be able to read my chat. I need a bit more of this. I'm gonna need a bit more of this. It filled. Math. I need 18 active. So I've got exactly 18. Okay. Let's make sure that I have a little bit more just to be safe. Oh, I haven't mentioned yet, but with the 3D printer printing up there, I have been reminded that yeah, this past weekend or Friday, I think is when it arrived, I had bought and got a fresh roll of black PLA because I needed it. Now I will need others, but what I also got, because it was on sale, was two rolls of black Rapid PETG from the same company that I buy for the Rapid PLA, the Elegoo brand. That blue, by the way, is not Elegoo. That blue that you're watching right now, that's a blue from eSun. And I'll need to get there another roll of the Fire Engine Red imminently, but I want it to be on sale first. Whatever. So, I got a couple rolls of PETG. They were on sale. 2 rolls for just under $20. 2 rolls of 1 kilogram each of PETG in black for just under $20. Which is insane for any filament. Which is an insane price for that much of any filament. So yeah, I have 2 rolls of PETG. If I want to use them, I would want to get at least one other nozzle for my 3D printer, because it's not ideal to use the same nozzle for multiple different chemicals of filament. But also, I sort of would, at that point, I think, need to get a filament dryer to pull out water, basically a dehumidifier, because, yeah, I live on East Coast United States, where it is always humid. Always humid. Winter's drier, but I can walk to the bay. It's close. So there's humidity in the air, which is not good for plastic filament. It's not as bad for PLA. That's why PLA is extremely popular. It's extremely easy to work with, and it does not get impacted by humidity that much. PETG, the next step up in toughness, it's a little bit more finicky to that sort of thing. It should be dried before use. And I don't even want to think about ABS or ASA, like, ever. Though that's just pain and suffering incarnate, and I don't need that strength or any application that I plan on printing. Like, I really don't need that. I don't really need that. But yeah, the PETG basically can be used to make items that like hangers. It's for hangers, really, for me. That would be the primary purpose. It would be to hold up somewhat weighty items. You know, like the printer itself came with a model G code for printing out a filament holder for the side of the printer to make it a little bit easier to switch out filament on the K1 Max, because by default, the spool holder for filament for the K1 Max is on the back of the machine. So every time I have to change a filament, I have to reach around the back of the machine to pull the roll off. And if I want to see how much filament is left on the roll, I have to lean over to the back to see where it's at. But the spool holder has to hold up to kilogram roll of filament at a time. So you would want that to be printed with something stronger than PLA. So yeah, PETG is the go-to for those sort of applications. And I'm glad I have rolls now. I'm glad I have rolls now of that. It is quite nice to have that option now. And yes, my printer can absolutely print the more exotic things, as well as ABS and ASA. ASA is basically like ABS, it's just more tolerant to UV stuff from what I've seen, and it's a little bit supposed to be a little bit easier to work with than ABS, but I think it's just a matter of preference at that point. Taste. There's like, their details are subtle between the two, and I just can't be bothered just because I don't care. And you have to change nozzles for different types of filaments, ideally. And if I have to do that on a regular basis, then I would also want to get a hot end, a third-party hot end for my extruder that is capable of fast swapping nozzles. And if I really want to get like super nitty-gritty detailed, theoretically I should only be using the same color filament for each for an individual nozzle for each color of filament. I should switch out the nozzle with the filament each time, but I can't be bothered with that either. Like, that's just What it does is that it helps make sure that there's no like color contamination getting stuck to the tip of the nozzle when you swap filaments. If you're taking the time and also swapping nozzles out to match the color, then it's no chance to have any color contamination. But nah. Don't think anyone actually does that, like, ever. No, instead what you can do is you can buy a 3D printer that has multiple, like, extruders, where each extruder head gets its own color. Ha. Oh, and recent updates to the Creality Print slicer now actually allow me to set up prints that change color at specific layers by letting me pause the print at the beginning of defined layers of the print so that you can retract and extrude a fresh color of filament without it losing its position and having to like rehome and all of that. The issue there is that I don't like that it doesn't seem to be able to prime the nozzle and like do an extra line to the side on the ground floor when it does that. So there's some potential there for misprinting that beginning of that initial layer of the new color, but it does mean that you could print items that can progress from one color to another over the course of the print. But things like the space mode stuff, you can't do that with because it's one continuous extrusion. As you can probably tell by how this is printing, that's one continuous extrusion. You're not going to be able to change the color midway if it's one continuous extrusion. But some of the other items, technically, I could like have a different color like base compared to the rest above. But it's not worth that effort. All right, what are we making next? To tetrachloride? Yeah, let's actually get some progress. Progress sounds pretty nice. Wood! Bring on the wood! I don't even think I need that part at all. Hello? That. There you go. Yeah, it's nice having the option of using PETG. It's just I do need to get nozzles for my printer. Like, I need to get a set to have on hand anyway. I'm still just using the same 0.4 millimeter nozzle that the machine came with. I would actually prefer to be using a 0.6 millimeter nozzle, to be completely honest. I would rather use a 0.6, and I would rather, like, try to get one that works with the machine that has a higher max flow rate, or that can improve the flow rate even further. Because what it comes with is technically supposed to be able to extrude up to like 30 millimeters or 32 millimeters per second of plastic, but in reality, with the filaments that I use normally, the PLAs that I use, rapid PLAs that I use, it's actually more like 20 before bad things happen with the specific print settings that I use with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. It's really more like 20 at the max. So in order to get higher than that, I would have to use a higher diameter nozzle. Which would help with the flow rate, but also they make nozzles that actually have even higher flow rate for the specific diameter, which I would like. It's worrisome because those are actually relatively expensive, and it would suck getting it and trying to install it to find out that it doesn't actually fit the machine. Anyway, I need stuff and things, and I need money for that. You know, the one problem. Yeah, and I think my money has to go towards filament at the moment. I need More red. The red is like 22 bucks. Or 23 bucks, I think. Let's see, has it gone on sale? Has it gone on sale? It's on my wish list. It is not on sale. There's only one left in stock. Order now. Oh no. Oh, that would suck. Surely they're gonna get another shipment in at some point. When they do, it will likely be on sale the moment it gets the new shipment in. Yeah, the red costs more than the 2 PETGs, but remember that the 2 PETGs were on sale for like 44% off at the time. Cat hath left. Cat hath returned. The moment I turn the camera off, Ollie comes right back. He jumps right back up. Jumped right back up, Mr. Ollie Cat. Yes. Oh, you're bumping your head against my arm. You're headbutting me. Yes. You want your pets. You want your pets. Yes, you want pets. Yes, big boy. Big Ollie Cat. Yeah. Hello, Ollie Cat. Yes, he came up this morning when I woke up. The moment I woke up, he was right there, jumping up onto my bed, wanting pets. Coming right up next to my face, wanting pets. Yeah, because he knows the first thing I do when I wake up, I grab my phone and I start looking through news. As I'm waking up, then he comes right up and he starts nuzzling my hand. So I can't use it for the phone. He's like, pet me. Yeah, so having the modules would help, right? Yeah. Yeah, that helps. That is 270 items per second sound. That sounds pretty good to me. You're on my chair now, and you're climbing. Yes, he's jumping. He's jumping. He's up on the top now. He's up and back. Really wish that list was searchable. But oh well. Kumin! Kumin! Yeah, the other thing about the PETG is, yeah, I sort of need to think about what I could make that actually would use PETG. Like, if I'm going to go through that effort of being able to print in that other type of filament, I'm going to need a reason right? Like, it will ideally need to be a way, like, of paying for itself. So I need to figure out, like, what can I possibly design as an item to sell within the realm of the types of things that I currently have. That is not the information that I have read about that. As far as I am aware, that the individuals who died in the airport accident, as far as I'm aware, were people that were on the other plane. So yeah, in Japan, they had a little incident where a passenger plane collided with a much smaller plane, Coast Guard plane, that was supposed to be on its way out for rescue efforts from the earthquake that they had. And yeah, they collided, and 5 people died on the smaller plane, and everyone else on the passenger plane survived, with 17 injured of the passengers on the commercial flight at the count that I saw earlier today. They were not all unharmed. There were injuries. The passenger plane caught on fire. And, yeah, utter inferno, completely and utterly destroying the entire plane. So they're investigating why the hell did it go on fire like that? After the collision with this smaller plane. Clearly, something happened. It must have hit a fuel tank with some other source of ignition for the fuel. But we'll find out over time what ended up happening there. The passengers lived, and the crew lived through it, so there's at least that. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, the people who died were the folks who were on the other plane and were supposed to be going out for rescue effort. Anyway, Cumene. Let's get this online. And as far as this is concerned, these don't need the productivity. Okay, crude. We're going to be doing something special for the crude oil, but it's not going to be here, as it turns out. I need to start it somewhere. I'm going to need to build another factory And since I've already put this work in, I'm gonna do that somewhere else. Yeah, it's like 7.5, thereabouts. Earthquake. Around 7.5 on the Richter scale. Magnitude. That is very strong. Not hugely strong, but it's a very strong earthquake that you don't see all that often. At least they didn't have a nuclear power plant explode this time. Not really explode, but at least it didn't break it down again. Ah. Okay, I need for this to be the crude oil, and I need to find where I'm pump jacking it so that I can copy from there, paste a bit. I just need an initial batch of the stuff. Really? Really? Okay. For this, I'm going to manually put in, if I have any. Okay, yes, I do. I'm going to manually put in some small parts for this, just because I don't need any more than a seed value here. Because what I'm actually going to end up doing, if I can find where I do this elsewhere. Somewhere around here. Yeah, right here. I am going to copy this right here. And this will be the actual build. But I just need enough starting crude oil to get it moving. Okay, I need... How do I do this again? Here. I need this in here. Grab those. There. 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 That can go away. This. Wood. Really wish this defaulted to max distance. Or at least, like, the distance that I set. I wish it was, like, tied to how far I move up to max distance. It's really annoying that it doesn't. But anyway, there goes the wood. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ollie. Hi. Cat. Hello. What are you doing? Are you coming back? Are you coming back over here? Yeah, Mr. Cat, now you're going to the window? Where are you gonna go? No, get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Yes. Don't go after my light. What do you want about my light? What do you want with my light? So with these, it's not as important to try to maximize the throughput on them because they cap out relatively low anyway. I'm trying to remember, I thought it was like 16. No, it is 1080 that it caps out on each. So there's no point. Oh, yeah. There's no point in like trying to make it up to 3000 when it's just gonna cap out at 1080. All right. As crude oil. And then rinse and repeat for, you know, every other fuel source in the game that uses the canisters, fuel canisters. Whoops. I've already done it with natural gas and acetylene. There's basically anything that can be put into the fuel can do that. That being said, pretty sure that the thing that we were just working on, the oh, that's something I can build at. That's something I can build at. That's something I can build at. Oh boy. 3 that are pre-built that I can just do stuff with. Ah. Good to know. That once I get this guy done, I got like 3 over here that are just already built that I can do stuff at. Cool. Cat hath left. Again. How's that thing doing? 95%. We're almost done on that print. Alright. So yeah, I just need to define crude oil now. And it is on its way. Now, cumene does not have a fuel value, so it is not among the fluids that I can use that little exploit for. Hello, Ollie Cat. At my feet. Why is Ollie Cat at my feet? What is Ollie Cat up to? What's up, Cat? Yeah, hi. Ta-da! Cumene, 3,000 per second. Just a few units. No, don't go there. Don't go by my thing, y'all. He just wants all of the attention in the world. So cumene can be used to make phenol with acetone. And then the acetone can be used to make organic solvent directly. I don't really see the need to have that set up at the moment. But it would be a good way to get into the acetone at some point. Cumene. Alright, so over here there's 3 locations for fresh factories. Dimethylchloride, or dichloromethane. Dichloromethane. Yes, acetone is nail polish remover. And otherwise known as nail polish remover. Naming those stations, bringing in chlorine. It's done! The print is done! Ollie? What? What are you doing? What are you doing down there? Oh goodness, that's tiny. $23.50. Pump. There it goes. 3,000 per second. Cool. Next. Next is break time. Oh boy, we are now halfway through today's stream. It doesn't feel like I've done much, but we've done several factories. We've done 4 factories, made chlorine, titanium tetrachloride, cumene, and dimethylchlorine, or dichloromethane, excuse me, DCM. When I come back from the break, it is time to make a basilite C300, followed by Lumogen F, deuterium, biopolymer carbon nanotubes, nanowire, pyrolytic carbon diamagnetic material, and then quantum batteries. Just a few things. Just a few things. With that, I will be back shortly. And I have returned. Welcome back. There's Ollie. There's Ollie Cat going to the window. Yes, you go to the window. I have the thing that printed just now. There it is. It has a nice little sheen. Now, I can still see on this camera. I don't know if it will even be picked up by the camera, but I can still see that there's this little like ghost effect, this little bit of texturing on it of these like diagonal lines. They're mostly vertical. They're a bit off vertical lines. And I don't know what's happening there because that's not how it's printing. It's like off axis from how it's printing a little bit. It's a little weird. I'll be honest. It's a little weird that it's doing that. Regardless though, there it is. It's here. It's in blue. It's in blue, and I will get pictures in blue, and the red, and the black, and the gray, and I have to load in white filament and print one more to have the white to get the pictures in white, and get the other pictures of that one back here behind me in black and red, and get all those pictures up and make listing for the N64 thing, and get more red filament eventually. Eventually. I just need to be mindful of the fact that for my red filament, it must be fire engine red. And must not be anything else besides the fire engine red, because frankly, no other red is red. One of these days I need to like do a video, I think, where I get every single red filament that I can find that is advertised as red and show just how not red the extreme vast majority of them are, actually. Because the extreme vast majority of the ones that are advertised as red are in fact orange and not red. Or are some mix of red-orange, or are pink and not red. But that would be very expensive, and the video itself won't, like, earn that back, so I don't see a point in it. It'd be like, oh yeah, this would be interesting information to know, but eh. Because Elegoo's red isn't actually red, unfortunately, nor is Creality's red actually red. It's not red. For both of them, it's not red. And even like eSun brand is not actually red for their red. The only thing that they have that is red, really red, is fire engine red. And that is really red. The other stuff, not red. Not actually red at all. Like, you look at it and your brain will say, this is not red. This is another color, not red. We have discrete definitions for other colors that are very similar to red that make it really difficult to make a real red. But yeah, if it's not real red, then it's not real red, and you shouldn't be advertising it as real red. Perylene, cumene, copper, glassware, chromium, another project that I should eventually do is actually not even related to 3D printing. I have had a request to make at least one video on Game Boy Color troubleshooting. Because for those who have been here a little bit longer, for a little while, I also was doing repair of retro handheld consoles. Specifically, I got more into the Game Boy Color side of things. I found that to be something that I had a bit more success with than the like Game Boy Advance SPs that I had also tried out. Far more success with colors, easier for me to work with those and to fix them, improve them, modify them, make them better, provide them better screens, and some of them even like give them like a full like a much bigger upgrade with like lithium batteries and things like that, rechargeable batteries. So, yeah. I got a request on that because a while back on a repair channel called Tronics Fix, the host repaired a set of Game Boy Colors. Well, tried to, anyway. Was looking at them in an attempt to fix them, and I had made a comment about some of the issues that I had seen with those Game Boy Colors. It's like, oh yeah, if you actually wanted to try to fix some of these, that one of them in particular had an issue that looked like with the one of the capacitors that leads to the screen, for example. Like it appeared to me that, hey, it seems like it's effectively a discontinuity between the capacitor and the screen, ultimately. So somewhere on there, it looked like that there was corrosion on the contacts for the capacitor, even though the capacitor looked fine. It looked like there was some corrosion on the contacts that probably was broken at the contacts. And it's like, yeah, that would be a more difficult fix. I would like set that aside to like do later if I had free time as something to fix. But in general, my comment was, oh, you should be replacing the 3 big capacitors on the consoles because they are at and beyond their end of life for those capacitors. They need to be replaced, and things like broken speakers are being caused by the capacitor dying and not being able to do its job correctly. Because it's supposed to be filtering the current going into the speakers or out of the speakers. It's a little complex for me to fully understand what's going on there, but the point is, current's being passed through the speaker, and the capacitor is acting a bit like a current filter for the electricity going through the speaker, and if you don't have that capacitor there, then it damages the speaker over time. And it is why that the speaker can accumulate rust on top of the speaker, and it's why the speaker will eventually break, is because that capacitor is no longer doing its job correctly. And if you don't replace the capacitor, but you replace the broken speaker, your new speaker is going to break in the exact same way relatively quickly because the capacitor is broken. And you should be replacing all of the 3 major large capacitors on the Game Boy Colors that you get. Which is why I will also say that if you are in the market to buy a Game Boy Color, only purchase Game Boy Colors where the seller has stated that they have replaced the capacitors with new capacitors. Even if it works, if it doesn't have new capacitors, it needs them. Imminently, it needs them. So always make sure you get them with fresh capacitors that have been replaced. At minimum with capacitors that have been replaced. Ideally also speakers, but that's more personal preference. If the original speaker still works, most of the time just clean it and it's fine. As long as it still works, just clean it. Just Q-tip whatever gunk might be on the surface of it, and it's fine. It works. It's not really a high-fidelity speaker to begin with. Just clean it off. It'll still work, and it'll be fine. Just replace the capacitor so it doesn't break, and it should still live a long life as a speaker. Now, as a seller, I would replace the speakers no matter what, and then sell the speakers separately of the ones that worked, because the OEM speakers are worth more than their replacements. That's another little tip there. Is like, oh hey, yeah. If a Game Boy Color has a new speaker, chances are they harvested the original speaker, because the original speaker is actually worth more separately than as part of a original system. And the replacements are significantly cheaper. By a factor of a lot. So this is moving. Yay. Stuff is happening. It needs modules. Well, it needs bacon. It needs some crispy, juicy bacon action. And there's the bacon. There's the bacon. Super baconator. You need a bit more stuff as buffers, though, so deliver to me all of the things. Oh, wow, the inserter isn't fast enough. Yeah, that checks out. That I believe checks out. Yes, the inserter would not be fast enough on its own. Basolite C300. It would appear as if I need to make adjustments to Paraline. I'll do that eventually. Next, Lumogen. Lumogen. We're here. So the side with the lowest range. The side with the smallest range is the 5 line. That's how I'm able to tell now. That's the magic thing that I'm looking for. Anyway, Lumo! Lumogen F. Cat. Ollie. What you doing? What are you doing? Why are you being annoying? Next, deuterium from gas bladders. Cool. Where? Good question. There. Hello, Spot. Hello, Ollie. Aw, settle. Yes, settle. Hey. I knew it. I knew it. Playful. Playful kitty. Tails flicking. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get those claws off of my hand. Yes. Yeah, big boy. Okay, that broken, that, there, move that. That's deuterium. All one build. Ha! Wow. One building. Doesn't even do 3,000. Deuterium. Ta-da! Yeah, it's capped. It's as fast as the building can go. It will be better at Mark III stuff, which, by the way... that is a gas refinery. Let's get that. Tech. What about the smelters? 3. I've got those, actually. How about the advanced foundry? Okay, I got those too. So I have a whole bunch of Mark III things that exist as an option. And I can make them. Some exceptions. I can't make all of them. I need harmonic absorbers and volumetric energy capacitors and biopolymer. Great. Oh, and heavy fermion. Great. I'm not going to be doing Mark III stuff until basically the end of this tech level. I think that's the agenda. think that there is a bit too much of a gap between Mark II and Mark III. I mean, yes, there's a really big gap between Mark I and Mark II, but it still feels like it's too much for between Mark II and III. And like getting the ability to make the threes, it's a bit much. I expect to have it now, and it's not kind that it can't be made now. Like, in general, Mark III I have considered to be pretty pointless, useless, actually, just because it comes at a really bad time. At a time where it's really just not worth the effort, because it's a far better use of time to just ignore it and get into Mark IV instead. And work towards the tech levels to get to the Mark IV stuff instead. But that being said, Mark IV has been pushed back so much now at this point that it's like, okay, well, you're going to be completing the game with Mark II stuff. That's how it is at the moment with the current balance. It seems that it's like too much of a detour to do these things, to get these infrastructure. Versus just winning. Like, this is stuff that should be used in the effort of winning, not something that is like afterthought for after you win. Like, no, that's not how that's supposed to go. Any hoozles, I've placed this actually so that I could do a couple of factories down here. I am just walking away from my factories. Okay. The next item on the agenda, biopolymer. Do I need to make anything for you? Yes, in fact, sporopollenin. We were in the process of researching the tech upgrade for you. Have I obtained this yet? No. No, because something is not functioning. So we are not actually going to be doing the biopolymer anytime soon. I do need the canalgus. So what we have set up thus far is used for what? That Lumogen that we went and made is for the microcavity core as part of the quantum batteries, as is the deuterium. We have special small parts and the next lead antimony alloy and the super alloy and the next lead matrix and the superconducting wire. We just need the biopolymer and the carbon nanotubes. So let me figure out what is wrong with my science, because it is not moving. It is a lack of purple and Pi 3. It is a lack of mill science. Military science is the limiting factor currently. The most limiting factor. All right, then. Scale military science, I suppose. Get the science moving quickly, the techs moving fairly quickly. That means I will likely not get quantum batteries today. Because the tech is going to take too long to process. Even if we extend the if the stream is extended an hour, it's not going to happen. I'm pretty darn certain, because I need to chew through 8,750 science at 3 minutes per tick. And because some idiot thought it was a good idea to make labs not have speed module effects. Like having the vat brain thing for extra productivity, like, whatever. But not having the effect like speed is a crime. Like, no. No, that is not okay. Oh, they're taking my stuff away. Why did I come here specifically? I don't need to be here. I need to be at the mill science. Like what just got delivered, yeah. That thing. Yeah, that stuff. Oh, how cute. Okay. So you like walls, huh? So we need walls, huh? Why does it do that? I don't get it. Like the lanes are getting messed up lately when changing the inserter, the loader. When changing the loader, it like messes up what's on what lane for no good reason. Okay. The walls. Step 1 is to make it productive, but also step 2 is to, yeah, get a setup for the stone bricks here. So let me do a search because I have this here and here. Right, so if we do that, and yeah, just grab a little stone and do a little bit of that to the left, prioritied. As you can probably see here, that's making a bit more stone brick than what goes in, meaning that none of this is required anymore. Same with this guy. None of that's required anymore. Yeah. And it's actually making enough. It's making enough. It's providing glorious things. That's yeah. We're no longer limited by military science. I hope. It'll go as quickly as I can get lead plates delivered. Okay. Now that that's moving, the other part of this would be, oh hey, we need more purple science as well as more Pi 3, but that is not something I will immediately address. I think we're okay with that. The bots in here are active, delivering the stuff, and the buildings are moving. I have 360 labs to try to overcome the slowness of the cycles. So what ends up happening is that this will pulse the progress, because of course the progress is, for this tech, 300 seconds per cycle. 5 fucking minutes per cycle without any way outside of lab speed techs to make it faster. Yeah, I'm about, that close to modding that out. Yeah, lab speed, laboratory research speed. These that are supposed to, make them faster a bit. What is my current lab or research speed? Bonuses. Boni. 140%. Woohoo. So in like 5 minutes is like a little over 2. That's still a lot of minutes. That's like 2 minutes faster than, or 2 minutes slower than what it should be. Research speed, it's behind, it's right up there. Research speed says 2.4 plus 140%. That's from the tech. But still, 5 minutes. 300 seconds divided by 2.4 is 125 seconds. 2 minutes and 5 seconds per cycle is 2 minutes faster than what it should be, frankly. Speed shouldn't ever be a thing that you have to worry about on labs. Like, processing speed of the text has always been just a gimmick to waste time. And that is exactly what it is. It is just a waste of time. Oh, stuff. Hi. Spot. Spot for things. Anyway, moving on from that, carbon nanotubes can't be made until I get biopolymer. Nano wires cannot be made until I have carbon nanotubes, which needs a biopolymer. Same with pyrolytic. Same with diamagnetic. So everything in this entire process is limited to biopolymer and sporopollenin for biopolymer, and I am not going to make sporopollenin through this recipe under any circumstances ever. Yeah, that's just not happening because I'm not going to make 15. I'm making, 270. And I'm not spending Renea on that. I refuse to spend Renea on sporopollenin when I know that there is an alternative in the tech upgrades that I have access to. So, what can we do instead of all of that? Well, there is something I can make outside of that, and that is the Canalgus bacteria. We can Canalgus. A little bit. This needs oleochemicals, as well as ground samples, and bone meal, and chitin, and glassware. So, do I have bone meal on the network? No. Bone meal, oleochems, ground samples. This stuff is from our good friend, the Ulrich, the majestic Ulrich, in the alternative we can convert bones into bone meal. For just a little steam. I'm going to do this instead. This is a more consistent way, because it's creature agnostic, mostly, as long as the creature has bones. Yeah, no real point in being too fancy about this. Just bring me bones. Also, I shouldn't be 300, it should be 270. Also, I need to move some of this. This is a pie thing. I do not believe that this is a effective PyBlock itself. This is just Pyanodons being super annoyingly slow at processing science. Yeah, this is straight up Pi being annoying. You know, you need to destack the things. Yeah, that helps. That is not the spot for you. The cat hath moved, baby. Pretty boy. There we go. Ba, 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 da, ba, da, da. A few units. Just a few units of bone meal. Glorious. Oleo. Alright, oleochemicals. So, cool thing about oleochems. Pretty sure. Let me have a look at them. They don't have a fuel value. Sadness. Sadness is real with those. So, the not so cool thing about those. Let's see. What do we want to do for these? Be efficient. Be efficient. Also provide the glycerol, if at all possible. Avoid the excess of both. It will always move, and that's fine. Okay. Next factory location. Oh, look, there's places up here. There's 3 spots for factories up here. Hallelujah. And we've got 3 spots over here. Oh boy. And 3 spots here as long as I build this. As far as I'm aware, there was supposed to be some sort of a vat brain biocomputing module effect that was supposed to increase speed, but it never materialized. So, yeah, there's that. It's something that I think was supposed to happen, but what effectively happened is they made things super slow, and then, while they had the intent of adding a way to make it go faster, never actually implemented it, and have kept it slow for no damn good reason. So, yeah. That's a thing. No, instead you get a very, honestly, inefficient way of making things, making the labs, trying to make the labs productive, but failing utterly at being able to do so. In any way, shape, or form that is even remotely economical to do. Especially when not playing with super shenanigan mode, with all of the productivity on all of the things. Because, yeah, I could do the vat brain biocomputing. It is actually an option, and it's actually relatively cheap with all of the productivity stuff that I have going on for, you know, making the cartridges for the biocomputers. But, oh, you know, it would involve having to completely delete and replace my lab array, for one. Like, baseline thing. Oh, hey, we've almost got the stage 2 Bodos. This will run regardless of lack of purple, so it should at least be a little bit faster. The problem is that this is the cheapest tech, and therefore also the fastest tech. And it will take a very long time to get through the next thing that I need to have, actually. What? Oh, I'm out of regular train stops. Wow. Okay. Sure. I haven't restocked in a little while, I guess, so I ran out of regular train stops. Oh boy. Alright, there's that tech. Bodo's upgrades has begun. As I've mentioned, my intent is to pick up, I think it's the Interdermal Extra Gills upgrade, which allows you to create sporopollenin directly from Bodo spores, and only Bodo spores. Which you can get infinitely through the spore collector. So it's effectively the same as having just infinite free sporopollenin, which is the last thing I would need in order to get into the biopolymer, which is a blocking ingredient for all of the rest of the stuff, really, for getting into the quantum batteries. Yeah. Alright, restock time. We're gonna have a whole bunch of robots come and try to deliver things to me, and the performance of the game will tank temporarily. Something I did do that I have the ability to do now is every so often I can go back to my mall, find some empty storage depots, turn off the bots delivering stuff to me temporarily, and empty my inventory into the logistics storage depots, and then turn the requests back on. And that way they'll just give me back the things that I have requested from the storage relatively quickly, and it lets me just not have to think about what I'm offloading. I don't have to be careful about what I offload and don't offload. And then if I find, oh hey, I sort of needed this thing, just put it into the request as it should have been the whole time. Goodness, there's only half an hour left in today's stream. Unless someone extends it. Are we going to at least get sporopollenin or biopolymer today? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure even at the rate that this tech is going, it's not going to finish within 30 minutes. But we shall see. All right, let's get back. Where were we? Up here? There. Because either way, I do need to finish the oleochemicals and the ground samples. Whoops, that was... I have repeated myself. Ground samples. These guys. 270 of them. These use rich clay and soil. I will be okay with making rich clay locally for this. I will accept that. I will accept it as long as I do this way. So I want to like just check here. This will be fine because it will be in a little bit of the range of the existing beacons. So that will be fine there. Now, I forget, did I have my nichrome stacked? Yes. As is lard. Ooh. Okay, that's fine if it behaves that way. So, Factory Planner here is telling me that specifically in this circumstance that the steam is not affected by productivity. However, actual craft time is telling me that it is. Now, more often than not, actual craft time is the one that's wrong, and not Factory Planner. But we'll find out very shortly. All right, the answer is it is not affected by productivity on this specific machine. All right, that part's done. Next, over here, let's get these ground samples going. And Mr. Cat is off. He's left me. He's left me. Ground samples. All right, these. Where? Oh, where? Here. No. Nah. Yes. Now, where in my list is my stack of ash? It's always a pain in the butt to find. There you are. Now I'll put that over there just so that I have it, so that this is a bit closer, and affecting these a little bit more. Whoops. There you go. Much better. Cool. Oh, whoops. That needs stuff. That don't need to exist. This is 0 inputs. Oh. Glorious. Alright, oleo. Glycerol. Ground samples. Alright. That's what I need to make the canalgus bacteria. Let's go and make that now. Where shall I do that? Up here. Also, I may as well plan out that, and that. What in the world am I going to do for fish? Like, yes, I can get all of the ingredients efficiently, but we're sort of stuck with the size of the rest of the infrastructure. It's a little annoying when you actually have to engage with the pie mechanics on occasion. Ugh. Yeah, the alien life stuff is just... I don't even want to bother with a lot of it. It's needless. Ah, boy. Yeah, the whole upgrading modules and all that is like... Some of them are okay, but most of them are just not worth the effort. And it sucks that it feels like it's forced on occasion. And it's like, no, they're not fun. The vast majority of the upgrade systems for the alien life modules are just not fun or engaging. Because they are literally built to be a complete and utter pain in the ass. Far worse than, you know, the normal amount of being a pain in the ass that is the rest of Pi. Yeah, that's good. Alright, bring on the holochems, bring on glassware. Bring on the ground samples. Bring on Nexlet. bring on bone meal. Then I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna bring on the Petri. Oh, you're stacked. You're both stacked, aren't you? Lasai. Alright, fine, whatever. Chitin is stacked as well. Alright, then. Do that. And there we go. No, I don't enjoy it for it being a pain in the ass. I enjoy it for, you know, being something that is actually, like, enjoyable to build in. Like, having the factories, the multiple factories, like, that's not the problem. Having huge volumes of things be necessary is the major problem, and to have a set of mechanics that are completely unrelated to the path forward is just an annoyance and not part of feeling good about progression. Like, I want to feel good and progress, not have to feel like I'm going out of my way to do something that's not actually productive towards the end goal. And that makes it highly annoying. For all of the, like, alien life module upgrade stuff, like, most, if not all of the mechanics for the alien life upgrades is a complete and utter waste of time that doesn't go towards anything of much productive value towards the end goal of completing the game. And that's what's the annoying part about it. Like, I don't want to be taken away from meaningful progression. And that those systems feel like they take away from meaningful progression rather than adding anything to it. And no, changing progression to require upgraded creature modules will not be a good solution to this. Because that response, okay, that response makes it completely and utterly clear that you are being a complete and utter jackass to the player. At that point. Like, the default response to people avoiding mechanics in the game has generally been make them required instead of making them, like, actually worth doing. It's like, oh, make it required and force people to use those mechanics, use those recipes. Like, that's fine to an extent, but it does go too far. Like, there is such a thing as going too far, and rather than actually making it something that's worth taking the time to go out of the way to do, you know, like, how about you actually just make it worth going out of the way to do instead of making it required to do the shitty way. That would be much more preferred, I think. Or scrap the thing entirely. That's a good solution too. Completely overhaul the whole entire alien life, like, mechanics. Just fundamentally change it. Get rid of the whole concept of, hell, caged creatures, cages, period. You want to know how to get rid of, like, this issue with being able to, like, just productivity your way into infinite caged creatures, just don't have caged creatures to begin with. Or have all of them always be caged. One or the other. Don't have two versions that you can cycle between. And just kill this concept of cages, ideally. And kill the concept of the creatures as modules. That has been a massive pain in the ass for the development. It's been a pain to work around as a mechanic. And to have this huge amount of effort in place to make the upgrades recipes in the first place and trying to come up with unique ways of upgrading creatures and plants and all this. Like, clearly the folks who are designing this lost interest in it partway through. And that's why there's all these 3D printing things for the upgrades. Like, that's why a whole bunch of creatures just have this generic ass upgrade process on them, is because they just didn't feel like making anything more that's unique. So, what are we doing after we beat Pi? Probably just doing OmniPi again, just more Pi. Once we're through it, as I keep saying. But anyway, yeah, it's like, maybe like consider structurally, fundamentally changing some of the Pi Alien Life stuff, because yeah, the concept is like okay for creatures as modules in the thing but the thing is, the building itself sort of is supposed to represent that behavior. Like, yeah, there's multiple creatures in the building. You know how I know there's multiple creatures in the building? It's the art of the building shows all the creatures in the building. Why do I then have to add creatures as modules into the building when the building itself can just show multiple creatures doing their thing in the building? Or multiple plants growing in a building? Why do we have to have this separate module system that's different from all the rest of the modules for life stuff? Like, it's just added this extra level of stuff to development too that's just not actually necessary. Oh yeah, and then 2.0 is going to come and everything's going to be utterly effed because of 2.0. God, I hope the major mod authors have some form of early access to get their mods sorted out and ready for 2.0, because it's gonna likely take a while to get things going. Now, anyway, we made the Canalgas bacteria. Next. I think I'm done. We're going to plan out some of the other things that we need in my factory planner for the rest of the stream, just because, yeah, this tech isn't going to happen within the next 6 minutes. And I have to do it anyway. I have to do the planning here anyway. So, what is that? Photonic what now? Photonic chip. So, photonic chip. What do I need for you that I don't already have? Close the damn thing when I hit escape, please. Instead of closing everything else. You. Yes, I have anti-reflective glass. I don't have conductive sheets. Conductive sheets are used for multiple things and is a new thing. I don't remember this being a thing. So, conductive sheets. That is one of the next things. Fiber Bragg grating crystal. Let's see. So we need the... All right. You are only used for photonic chips. Okay. Well, that's happening there then. How about the finite difference time domain? Photonic structure. Only used for photonic chips. Okay. That'll get made there. Transparent anode. Used for multiple things, therefore that gets made separately. Maybe not that many. Oh boy, that's new. Zinc oxide nanoparticles, crude top layer. Crude top layer, only part of that. Okay. Those are basic materials. Titanium dioxide. It's something I have already made and will have to put onto the train network. Zinc oxide nanoparticles and the thorium oxide. Okay, zinc. Nanocomplex. Complex? Complex. Compound, I guess, but that'll be a thing. Fiber Bragg. Wait, no. What am I thinking? That's there. This needs to be renamed to colloidal silica. All right. I think that's where I'm going to call it for the day, folks. I'm ending it off just a few minutes early, but that's fine. We've made some plans for what we'll do next time as we continue on the way towards getting into intelligent units. Next time we meet, we'll get the biopolymer, and we will work on photonic chips. Thank you for watching. This has been a talk show, but if you've enjoyed today's stream, do all the social stuff below the video. I will be back on Thursday. I hope to see you all then.